The One Year Bible, the Living Bible Paraphrased, April 18th. The southern boundary of the tribes of Joseph, Ephraim and the half-tribe of Manasseh. This boundary extended from the Jordan River at Jericho through the wilderness and the hill country to Bethel. It then went from Bethel to Luz, then on to Adaroth in the territory of the Archites, and west to the border of the Japhlethites as far as lower Beth-horon, then to Gezer and on over to the Mediterranean. The land given to the tribe of Ephraim. The east boundary began at Adaroth Adar. From there it ran to upper Beth-horon, then on to the Mediterranean Sea. The northern boundary began at the sea, ran east past Mithmekath, then continued on past Taanath, Shiloh, and Janoah. From Janoah it turned southward to Adaroth and Nara, touched Jericho, and ended at the Jordan River. The western half of the northern boundary went from Tappuah and followed along Kana Brook to the Mediterranean Sea. Ephraim was also given some of the cities in the territory of the half-tribe of Manasseh. The Canaanites living in Gezer were never driven out, so they still live as slaves among the people of Ephraim. The land given to the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joseph's oldest son, the clan of Machir, Manasseh's oldest son, who was the father of Gilead, had already been given the land of Gilead and Bashan on the east side of the Jordan River, for they were great warriors. So now land on the west side of the Jordan was given to the clans of Abiezer, Helek, Azrael, Shechem, Shemida, and Hepher. However, Hepher's son Zelophehad, grandson of Gilead, great-grandson of Machir, and great-great-grandson of Manasseh, had no sons. He had only 5 daughters whose names were Mahlon, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These women came to Eleazar the priest and to Joshua the Israeli leaders and reminded them, "The Lord told Moses that we were to receive as much property as the men of our tribe." So, as the Lord had commanded through Moses, these 5 women were given an inheritance along with their 5 great-uncles, and the total inheritance came to the 10 sections of land, in addition to the land of Gilead and Bashan across the Jordan River. The northern boundary of the tribe of Manasseh extended southward from the border of Asher to Mikmethath, which is east of Shechem. On the south, the boundary went from Mikmethath to the spring of Tappuah. The land of Tappuah belonged to Manasseh, but the city of Tappuah on the border of Manasseh's land belonged to the tribe of Ephraim. From the spring of Tappuah, the border of Manasseh followed the north bank of Kana Brook to the Mediterranean Sea. Several cities south of the brook belonged to the tribe of Ephraim, though they were located in Manasseh's territory. The land south of the brook and as far west as the Mediterranean Sea was assigned to Ephraim, and the land north of the brook and east of the sea went to Manasseh. Manasseh's northern boundary was the territory of Asher, and the eastern boundary was the territory of Issachar. The half-tribe of Manasseh was also given the following cities, which were situated in the areas assigned to Issachar and Asher: Beth-shean, Ibleam, Dor, Endor, Tanakh, Megiddo, where there are the 3 cliffs, with their respective villages. But since the descendants of Manasseh could not drive out the people who lived in those cities, the Canaanites remained. Later on, however, when the Israelis became strong enough, they forced the Canaanites to work as slaves. Then the 2 tribes of Joseph came to Joshua and asked, Why have you given us only one portion of land, when the Lord has given us such large populations? If the hill country of Ephraim is not large enough for you, Joshua replied, and if you are able to do it, you may clear out the forest land where the Perizzites and Rephaim live. Fine, said the tribes of Joseph, for the Canaanites in the lowlands around Bethshean and the valley of Jezreel have iron chariots and are too strong for us. Then you shall have the mountain for us, Joshua replied, and since you are such a large, strong tribe, you will surely be able to clear it all and live there. And I'm sure you can drive out the Canaanites from the valleys too, even though they are strong and have iron chariots. After the conquest, although 7 of the tribes of Israel had not yet entered and conquered the land God had given them, all Israel gathered at Shiloh to set up the tabernacle. Then Joshua asked them, "How long are you going to wait before clearing out the people living in the land that the Lord your God has given you? Select 3 men from each tribe, and I will send them to scout the unconquered territory and bring back a report of its size and natural divisions so that I can divide it for you. The scouts will map it into 7 sections. Then I will throw the sacred dice to decide which section will be assigned to each tribe. However, remember that the Levites won't receive any land. They are priests of the Lord. That is their wonderful heritage. And of course the tribes of Gad and Reuben and the half-tribe of Manasseh won't receive any more, for they already have land on the east side of the Jordan, where Moses promised them that they could settle." So the scouts went out to map the country and to bring back their report to Joshua. Then the Lord could assign the sections of land to the tribes by the throw of the sacred dice. The men did as they were told and divided the entire territory into 7 sections, listing the cities in each section. Then they returned to Joshua and the camp at Shiloh. There, at the tabernacle at Shiloh, the Lord showed Joshua by the sacred lottery which tribe should have each section. The land given to the tribe of Benjamin. The section of land assigned to the families of the tribe of Benjamin lay between the territory previously assigned to the tribes of Judah and Joseph. The northern boundary began at the Jordan River, went north of Jericho, then went west through the hill country in the wilderness of Beth-aven. From there the boundary went south to Luz, also called Bethel, and proceeded down to Adaroth Adar in the hill country south of Lower Beth-horon. There the border turned south, passing the mountain near Beth-horon and ending at the village of Kiriath-baal, sometimes called Kiriath-jearim, one of the cities of the tribes of Judah. This was the western boundary. The southern border ran from the edge of Kiriath-baal over Mount Ephron to the spring of Naptorah, and down the base of the mountain beside the valley of Hinnom, north of the valley of Rephaim. From there it continued across the valley of Hinnom, crossed south of the old city of Jerusalem, where the Jebusites lived, and continued down to En-Rogel. From En-Rogel the boundary proceeded northeast to En-Shemesh and on to Gel-Eloth, which is opposite the slope of Adumim. Then it went down to the stone of Boan, who was a son of Reuben, where it passed along the north edge of Arabah. The border then went down into the Arabah, ran south past Beth Hoglah, and ended at the north bay of the Dead Sea, which is the southern end of the Jordan River. The eastern border was the Jordan River. This was the land assigned to the tribe of Benjamin. These 26 cities were included in the land given to the tribe of Benjamin: Jericho, Beth-hogla, Emek Keziz, Beth-arbara, Beth-arbaba, Zimarim, Bethel, Avim, Parah, Ophrah, Chephar-Ammoni, Ophni, Geba, Gibeon, Ramah, Beeroth, Mizpah, Chephirah, Mazah, Rechem, Erpeel, Tar-Allah, Zelah, Hael-leph, Jabesh or Jerusalem, Gibeah, and Kiriath-jearim. All of these cities and their surrounding villages were given to the tribe of Benjamin. The Gospel of Luke, chapter 19, verses 1 through 27. As Jesus was passing through Jericho, a man named Zacharias, one of the most influential Jews in the Roman tax-collecting business, and of course a very rich man, tried to get a look at Jesus, but he was too short to see over the crowds. So he ran ahead and climbed into a sycamore tree beside the road to watch from there. When Jesus came by, he looked up at Zacchaeus and called him by name. "Zacchaeus," he said, "quick, come down, for I am going to be a guest in your home today." Zacchaeus hurriedly climbed down and took Jesus to his house in great excitement and joy. But the crowds were displeased. "He has gone to be the guest of a notorious sinner," they grumbled. Meanwhile, Zacchaeus stood before the Lord and said, "Sir, from now on I will give half my wealth to the poor, and if I find I have overcharged anyone on his taxes, I will penalize myself by giving him back 4 times as much." Jesus told him, "This shows that salvation has come to his home today. This man was one of the lost sons of Abraham, and I, the Messiah, have come to search for and to save such souls as his." And because Jesus was nearing Jerusalem, he told a story to correct the impression that the kingdom of God would begin right away. A nobleman living in a certain province was called away to the distant capital of the empire to be crowned king of his province.